and welcome back to Zebra Reviews.
Okay, so for those of you who know me, you know that 2018 wasn't exactly my favorite year. I went through a lot of crap and it kind of affected my creative process, but you know what? Done horsing around. Done with that. Well, screw it. You know, it's pointless beating a dead horse. We're just gonna move on. Okay. Now you may notice my set's changed a little bit. Still not really happy with how I have things set up, so it's going to be changing every here and there, and you're just going to have to deal with it. You know what? Let's get straight to the action. What do we have on the list for today? I'm thinking Critters. That's right. Now you may remember Killer Clowns from Outer Space that was made by the Kyoto Brothers. This movie is kind of linked to that one because they did the special effects for it. And they did a pretty damn good job too. On top of that, the director of this movie also directed Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure, so it's got to be good, right? Right? Yeah.
So we start out in space, and it appears to be some sort of intergalactic prison. They're talking about these creatures named the Krites, and how 8 of them just escaped and stole shit. So it doesn't sound like it's a very good prison, actually, since there's just 8 little creatures. Like, what the hell? Anyways, the guy in charge, he calls in some bounty hunters.
Get the bounty hunters!
So we're introduced to those two. They're just a couple of faceless guys with green glowing heads, you know, the usual.
Receive full payment, as usual, only upon evidence of their destruction.
And they're given the mission to kill the Krites. So they have to go find wherever the hell those things went and kill them. Oh, it's on. Back on Earth, we're introduced to the Brown family. They're a typical farming family, you know, there's the hard-ass dad that works all the time, stereotypical housewife that's just there to cook and clean and keep everyone happy, the spoiled teenage daughter who's self-involved, and then there's the troublemaking son who's rebelling against the strict family that he has. That's our lead character, Brad Brown there. That's Scott Grimes. He's also an R&B singer, and he's currently playing a pilot on the show The Orville. And on top of that, he's the voice of Steve Smith from American Dad. That's where most people recognize him from. But this is where he got his start. Pretty cool, huh? Then we also get to meet Charlie. He helps out around the farm, but he's also the town drunk. He thinks he was abducted by aliens at one point. No one really seems to believe him. He's just a complete mess. Actually, watching this, I'm a little reminded of the character Kramer from Seinfeld. I wonder if Michael Richards actually got some inspiration from this guy. So the bounty hunters are on their way to Earth. They decide to research the planet a little bit, so of course they watch TV because that makes perfect sense. That's exactly what our culture is, right? They also decide to choose a form. Well, one of them does. He chooses a pop icon. The other one says nothing likes him, so he just kind of stays blank at the moment. And you get a really cool sequence where the guy's face is like melting and reforming, and it's cool, especially for the time period. The Kyoto Brothers did an awesome job on that one. Then we're also introduced to the daughter's boyfriend, played by none other than Billy Zane. Now, I know Billy Zane as the badass demon from Demon Knight, but he's done a ton of things, and most people actually know him from his role in Titanic, which is kind of an interesting thing, because when you look back at it, not only did Billy Zane get his start in Critters before being in Titanic, but Leonardo DiCaprio was the star of Critters 3 before being in Titanic. I guess this series is pretty awesome, huh? So the Critters have landed. They kill one of the police officers, drag him under the car, and then they make their way to the farmhouse, as you can see right here. So the lights go out, the phone's dead, just pandemonium going on. So the family decides to go figure out what's happening. They go check where the fuse boxes are. Everything's been destroyed, and look what they find. And they find this interesting little animal up on the shelf. So the father gets attacked, he's bit, he's really messed up. They even shoot him with one of their little quills that they have. It seems to have some sort of poison according to the father. It's just bad all around, but he manages to escape it somehow. And they just lock the critters down there in their cellar. Okay, so the bounty hunters arrive. They find the first victim of the critters, so they're pretty good at their job, evidently. They find that police car. The one bounty hunter that didn't take a form yet, he turns into the police officer. But it's kind of interesting. He doesn't just turn into the regular police officer. He turns into the dead corpse of the police officer. So he looks like a zombie. He's all pale. He has blood on his face. I'm sure that'll help him fit in. Okay, so back at the farm, you know, teenagers are doing what teenagers do right here. And...
What? Billy Zane's killed? Are you freaking kidding me?
So Brad throws a firework and the critter picks it up, eats it, and he blows up, except he doesn't really blow up, he just kind of bloats a little and falls over and smokes. So now the bounty hunters crash into a church. I kind of want to talk about that. You know, they seem to be pretty good at tracking down the critters, but they are really bad at doing their job without destroying everything. In fact, when they left the planet, I believe the guy in charge said something about that.
I trust, however, you will be less destructive this time, considering you nearly destroyed the house.
And that's what they do. They just destroy everything, everywhere they go. I mean, take a look at all this. Yeah, because, you know, that's the best way to get rid of tiny little creatures. Just blow everything up. I mean, it makes sense.
Okay, be very quiet. I think it's over here. I'm just really worried. I don't know what we're gonna do, but oh God, oh God.
That was a close one. Anyways, let's get back to the church. The one bounty hunter that was the dead cop now decides to take the form of the preacher because, you know, he just feels like it. And then a little later on, he also takes the form of Charlie, just completely freaking Charlie out. Like, you know, he already has a drinking problem. What the hell's he gonna do now? Meth? Okay, so back at the farm, the family's getting ready to defend themselves against the critters. The dad grabs a shotgun, but, do you see that? There's 3 shotguns there. Why didn't he grab the other 2 and give them to his wife and either his daughter or son? Like, you're being attacked by vicious monsters and you don't want as many guns as possible? You're a fucking idiot. So they try to go out to their car, but it's been completely destroyed by the critters. They go to April's boyfriend's car, and that one actually has a critter in it, so they're screwed. And it's a whole critter ambush. The family has to run. And there's a thing here where I'm kind of wondering how smart these critters actually are. I mean, they've been shown that they can communicate, they can break out of a prison, they can cut phone lines, electric lines, set up ambushes and stuff. But then a freaking gate stops them. A wooden gate. Like, how smart are these fuckers? Then they get stopped by a tree. The fuck? Now we get a little taste of the critter's personality here. And the critters manage to break into the farmhouse. They shoot the mom in the neck. Just all hell breaks loose. Well, evidently critters don't like fires, so I guess all you have to do is burn your whole house down and you're safe? No? That doesn't sound like a good idea? Ah well, fuck it. Dad has to stay and protect the rest of the family, and Brad decides to make a run for it, try to track down some help, because they're not going to make it on their own. While he's out there, he actually sees one of the critters growing, so that can't be good.
They're growing.
Then we get a typical 80s montage of critters just destroying the place. You know, the usual thing. Tearing up puppets and pillows and other shit, eating goldfish. I mean, there's not much to say about that. Brad manages to find the bounty hunters, and he leads them over to his house. In the meantime, the big critter attacks the family, so shit's getting really serious now, but, you know, more explosions. So the bounty hunters are busy blowing shit up, just killing all the critters, you know, doing their thing. And the big one actually kidnaps April and drags her away. And the family's screaming, they have no idea what to do. He drags the daughter into the spaceship, they're taking off, getting the hell out of there. Brad and Charlie try to stop them, they go into the spaceship, pull April out, get the hell out of there. But it looks like the critters are gonna get away. So, I don't know what they're gonna do here, but, oh wait, Charlie's an alcoholic. So they throw the Molotov into the spaceship. Brad drops one of his fireworks in there, so that's in there. And the critters, they think they're free, they fly away, but before leaving, they stop. And they blow up the farmhouse and laugh about it. Those little guys are fucking assholes. Like, they didn't even care about eating or anything. They just wanted to blow shit up just to fuck with people. That's pretty messed up. Like, even for monsters. So the critter spaceship blows up. We get our ending. You know, the bounty hunters are there. Brad and his family are there. Charlie, everybody. Charlie actually goes with the bounty hunters at the end. And the bounty hunters give Brad a little remote, which actually ends up fixing the farmhouse. That doesn't really make sense, but it was the 80s and they needed a happy ending. The original ending actually didn't have the farmhouse being fixed, but after they did some test screenings, they decided they needed to change it to make the ending a little less bleak. Wait a minute. What's this? Eggs? Could that mean a sequel? So there it is, that's Critters. It's roughly an hour and 15 minutes if you take out the credits and everything, so it's a fast ride, but it's one hell of a ride. I'm gonna rate this one a 7.8 out of 10. I mean, like I said, as a kid it was one of my favorite movies, but I do understand that it's not everybody's cup of tea. It's classic, you know, cheesy 80s horror, but for what it is, it's awesome. I definitely recommend watching it. Okay, on that note, that's it for tonight. You know, the usual, like, subscribe, comment, all that stuff. If there's a movie you guys want to see me review, just let me know. I'll see you about it.